And hey together, my name is Daniel. I am happy to welcome you to the fourth aggressive advanced 1 tutorial. In this video we will learn our very first grind, the frontside grind. The frontside grind is also often called 50-50 grind, as well as the modified version UFO-Grind. Well, let's take a look at what the frontside grind looks like. After that we will begin by learning the trick. The frontside grind or 50-50 grind is one of the easiest grinds. For that reason it's the first grind we will learn. You should know every grind is different. They differ in the foot position and in the proper posture as well as in the point of balance. The frontside grind or 50-50 grind is a grind by which we grind with both skates on our grooves between our wheels. So the first thing we will do is to use any object for just jumping on our grooves. For the first tries I always recommend a low and less slippery object. Less slippery objects are ordinary unraxed curbs or ledges. When you're already comfortable with other grinds, maybe you'll also be able to use higher and more slippery objects. However, we always start practicing by just doing stalls. Stand in the front of the object and begin to jump on it. Try to land in your grooves. When landing, ensure your toes are pointing straight or nearly straight. Repeat until you feel comfortable jumping on and off the object. For every stall we try to bend our knees deeper and deeper, and when landing always pay attention to your feet. Your skates should not stay directly next to each other. There should be a space between our skates in order to not lose balance on our sides. A space of about 30 centimeters should be enough, but use more if needed. As you practice, you will begin to feel how much space works best for you. Just remember, do not put your skates directly next to each other. You're at a high risk of falling if you don't keep a space. So also try to move your feet while standing in the stall. We jump on different types of objects to practice using the right form. We do this to get comfortable on different platforms and heights. This trains us for different heights and platforms while increasing our jumping ability. We also learn to soft land in the correct position and feel comfortable doing so. If we feel comfortable, we start with our first and real grind. For this we begin to jump on an object by slow skating. We begin doing that from the front side of our object. Then we start trying it with a small turn. In this way we try to grind a small distance. For the beginning, a few centimeters is enough. Just try to get a feel for it. Step by step we become faster and faster. In this way we will grind further and further. If we feel comfortable, we start with the final step. We begin to jump into the grind from the side of the object. It means that our running direction and our grinding direction nearly form one straight line. Your position is very important to grind slow or fast. The more the angle of your skates, the safer and faster you're able to grind. Repeat doing a frontside grind, getting faster and faster. To keep balance we use our upper part of the body, but going down on our knees that makes it much easier to grind. To improve your first frontside 50-50 grind, try to keep your knees next to each other. Also try to look to the direction of movement, as well as maintain the balance point over the edge. Lastly, try to jump off forward as well as jump off with a spin to land backwards. The more stable we stand in our grind, the better we can jump off. In the next steps, we will start grinding on as many objects as we can to get a feel for all different substrate and heights. At this point we know what we need to grind the 50-50 grind, but grinding a rail is slightly different. So I will show you the difference. A rail is typically more slippery than a curb or ledge. That means that it needs a higher ability level to grind a rail. But there is another very important difference. Grinding a rail needs a lot more focus. While missing a ledge or a curb, we will slide on the object or just fall onto the object, but not on a rail. On a rail it's easier to get stuck, stumble and fall over. So you should practice rail grinds at a slow speed, even if you manage the 50-50 on a curb. When you bend your knees as much as you can, it will be easier to avoid a painful fall. At least we will learn the 50-50 grind on the Funbox. I know it's nearly the same as on the ledge or curb, but from my experience I know sometimes it's hard to overcome fear. So first I will show you how I've overcame fear and where is the difference to a curb or ledge. For overcoming fear you may stand on the Funbox in front of the ledge. Then do some jumps onto the ledge to the 50-50 stall for becoming familiar with the ledge. After that, start skating on the Funbox and try to jump to the proper position in front of the ledge. That will help you to internalize the motion sequence. For my very first 50-50 grind on the Funbox, I needed some help to overcome fear. I used the help of another person to hold on to so I didn't slip away. At this point, thanks to Meyer of the Plate-Rinse. After a few tries with some help I had overcome my fear. So I was able to practice the grind and you will also be able to do that. The difference to normal curbs or ledges is that you have to jump off a sloping or rounded surface. And that was also why I was fearful. I thought I would land slanting, but that will not happen. Just do your first tries with a slow speed and think about maintaining a space between your skates while landing. For grinding the frontside 50-50 it's very important to keep a space between your skates, to maintain balance as well as bending your knees, otherwise you will slip and fall sideways. As you can see, I'm not a pro yet, but for learning a trick I think it's better to see what was difficult for other people and how they have learned the tricks. To improve the 50-50 grind, try to keep your knees close to each other, look to the direction of movement and try to not lean too much forward or backward. And again, we have reached the end of the video. From this point it's time to practice the grind we just learned. And guys, did you like this guide? Don't forget to thumbs up. I would love to see your criticism and positive comments as well as answer your questions. For more videos and updates, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Moreover, you can also find me on my website, on my Facebook community page, on Instagram and others. Have a good time, see you guys at the next video.